Yo, it's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fella, the all-star advisor Alonzo Hall, and I've returned today with another ADH Wealth Solution. Today, we'll begin to discuss fulfilling all of your financial needs. To contribute to channel growth, the links are in the description. To schedule an appointment of your own, or to purchase life insurance directly up to $1 million with no medical exam and an instant decision, my information is in the description. Lastly, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share. And now, here's our next feature. Yo. It's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fella, the all-star advisor Alonzo Hall, and I've returned today to whap and tap on your head with another ADH Wealth Solution. Today's article is entitled, "Is This the Worst Financial Advice Ever?" A March 22nd, 2018 article by Pamela Yellen for Entrepreneur Magazine. Before we go in, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth, to purchase life insurance directly up to $1 million with an instant decision and no medical exam, or to schedule a one-on-one appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description. As we proceed to give you what you need, is this the worst financial advice ever? A skeptical look at the common advice to buy term insurance and invest the difference. Anyone who knows me knows I don't follow conventional financial wisdom until after I've asked a lot of questions. Call me skeptical, contrarian, scrupulous, whatever. It's my nature to question any and all schemes that involve my hard-earned money. The result? I've come to the conclusion that a lot of the free financial advice floating around is worth exactly what we pay for it. Take insurance. This commonly held belief: after you retire, your basic expenses will be much lower. This may sound soothing, but it's not the way life works for most retirees in the real world. A report by the Employee Benefit Research Institute found that 46% of seniors polled said they spent more money during their first 2 years of retirement than during their working years, and 33% continued spending more 6 years into retirement, because now you don't have that at least 8 hours a day where you're going to work. So you probably are doing things like shopping. I've written about some of the reasons you shouldn't expect your expenses to be lower in retirement, with higher medical costs being chief among them. In fact, we should all be saving more rather than less to cover higher expenses when we are retired. There is a lot bad advice and nonsensical financial wisdom floating around on how to do that, not unlike the less spent in retirement thing. In my view, there's no worse piece of this widely accepted but baseless balderdash than this: buy term and invest the difference. We've all heard this pearl of wisdom that we should buy cheap term insurance rather than expensive permanent cash value insurance and invest the money we save, usually into the stock market. This idea is so common, it even has its own acronym, BTID. The BTID strategy promises to carry young Americans to their old age, to safeguard their loved ones, and to build a large retirement portfolio along the way. But it's based on a faulty assumption. In fact, several false assumptions. Those faulty assumptions. First, what's happened to the difference that Americans have supposedly invested? The typical investor lost 49% or more of his or her savings twice just since 2000. And now that it's 2022 and this article is 4 years old, probably more, especially with things like inflation. The typical equity mutual fund investor, meanwhile, has earned 3.98% annually for the past 30 years, beating inflation only by 1.3% per year, according to the latest analysis by Dalbar. Another idea behind BTID is that by the time term policy holders reach their 50s and 60s, they'll no longer need their term policies. Their investment portfolios will have ballooned to such massive size that they won't need life insurance anymore. They will be self-insured by their own worth. But that's not how things are working out for most Americans. According to the Center for Retirement Research at Boston, 52% of households are at risk of not being able to maintain their standard of living in retirement. And 50% have no savings at all. Among those who do manage to save, the typical couple nearing retirement will receive only $600 per month from their 401k and IRAs combined, according to the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances. Since the majority of pre-retirees aren't wealthy enough to self-insure, those who have followed the BTID advice face an agonizing choice. Do they continue to shovel cash into those term policies to get the death benefits their families will someday need? Or do they drop their insurance, exposing loved ones to potential financial disaster in the event of their death? Sure, term life insurance has its place, but is not the best option to carry you and your family safely into your golden years. That cheap insurance isn't so cheap as we get older. Although young and healthy policyholders can purchase hundreds of thousands of dollars of coverage for less than $100 a month, as you age, your rates rise and ultimately become astronomical. Case in point, I own a 15-year term life policy for business purposes that will expire in 2 years. I just checked the policy to see how much more it would cost me to continue that policy in case I'm unable to qualify for a new policy now for health reasons 2 years from now. Turns out, I could continue to keep paying that policy in force if I wanted to pay a premium that's 15 times higher than what I'm paying now. And 10 years later, that premium will be almost 40 times higher than I'm paying. A 4,000% increase. Why buying term insurance is like renting a home? Well, no matter how many years or decades you pay rent, you get no credit for prior payments if you can't pay this month's rent. If you stop paying your premium, the term insurance company will cancel your coverage in 31 days. Here's another problem. The term life policies many of us purchased decades ago are worth far less today in inflation-adjusted dollars. Most term policies have a level death benefit for the term of the policy. If you buy, actually rent, a $250,000 20-year term policy and inflation averages 4% per year, your policy will lose 56% of its value over its 20-year term. Even worse, people who put money into a term life policy have nothing to show for it. According to a Penn State University study, 99% of all term policies never pay out a claim. Proponents of term life say this is because most people let their policy lapse. But even if you keep your policy in force, you're still just renting and just one payment away from having nothing to show for it. Is there anything more expensive than paying for something that most likely holds no benefit for you? Pricing a whole life in a term policy, then investing the difference. Who actually invests the difference between what he or she would pay for term life versus paying for permanent insurance with an equivalent death benefit? According to David Babel, a professor at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, people don't buy term insurance and invest the difference. They most likely rent term, lapse it, and then spend the difference. Many people realize these pitfalls, so they avoid buying life insurance altogether. That can be a huge mistake, especially considering the largely unheralded or forgotten advantages of dividend-paying whole life insurance. I've spent years researching and testing with my own money a little-known type of high cash value dividend-paying whole life insurance. It's true that in their early years, these policies require more out-of-pocket cash than term life policies. But after a decade or two, people who own this type of insurance, as opposed to renting term life, have a great deal to show for their patients. 4 advantages of this type of insurance over term life. 1, your premium never increases. Because you own rather than rent your policies, your premiums are being converted into safe and liquid savings, and your rates don't ratchet upward ever. Built-in protection against inflation. Premiums on this type of policy are guaranteed never to increase. This means that as the policyholders age, they pay the same amount, but in inflation-diminished dollars, while the cost for term policy owners soar over time. The cost for whole life policyholders effectively shrinks with age as both cash value and the death benefit of these policies increase exponentially over time. 3, living benefits. By the time owners of this dividend-paying whole life policies near retirement, many have built substantial nest eggs that they can draw upon as needed. They don't need to die in order to benefit, and they continue to benefit no matter how long they live. Number 4, guaranteed predictable growth every year. With a high cash value dividend-paying whole life policy, you can actually know the guaranteed minimum value of your plan on the day you want to tap into it, and at every single step along the way. These policies have a 160-plus year track record of positive growth and have never had a losing year. That's a far cry from the risk and volatility we see in the stock market and any other investments. So, keep an open mind and investigate this proven, safe wealth-building strategy for yourself. As General George S. Patton once noted, if everyone's thinking the same thing, then someone isn't thinking. So that's going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth, to purchase life insurance directly up to $1 million with an instant decision and no medical exam, or to schedule a one-on-one appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description. With that being said, wipe ass, work in progress every day, and see success. Salute, salute, salute. Hey folks, this last video was sponsored by my company, where we help people like you to reach their financial goals. We do this through a simple conversation where we help to identify and then protect your lifestyle, and then we implement a plan. The process starts at about an hour. So, if you want more information or you want to schedule a consult, contact me via the information in the description box, and let's talk and see if we're actually a great fit for each other. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Thank you, and enjoy life.